I would like to thank AIOC Organizing Committee and Dr. Raka Chakraborty for the kind invitation. So I'll be talking on orbital inflammatory diseases. What is orbital inflammatory disease? It's an umbrella term which represents an etiologically diverse spectrum of condition which is unified in their association with abnormal inflammation in the periorbital region. It is characterized by pain, proptosis, ptosis, extraocular movement limitation, dry eye, and dimness of vision. It can be classified as specific inflammatory orbital disease, where a specific clinical or pathological or radiological identity can be fits in, but the rest of the cases where no definite clinical, radiological, or pathological diagnosis could be made out are classified as non-specific or idiopathic orbital inflammatory disease, or IUID, or pseudotumor, we used to call it earlier. So a benign non-infective inflammatory condition of the orbit without any identifiable local or systemic cause are called NSOID or IUID. So if on the basis of anatomical location, if it can be classified as myocytic when the extraocular muscle are only involved, or non-myocytic when there is lacrimal gland involved, it is called dacryoadenitis, and when fibrofatty tissue along with other structure like lacrimal gland, muscle, etc. is involved, it is called diffuse IUID. Some of the rare type of idiopathic orbital inflammation are apical when it involves the apex, periscleritis, trochleitis, perineuritis, and perineuritis. And the classification of orbital inflammatory disease on and
Your audio was not clear.
It's not clear. Okay. 42 years old gentleman. Now it is okay.
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
42 years old gentleman presented with sudden pain in the left eye, which exacerbates on the right gaze. He has redness and diplopia. On examination, the blood examination, thyroid, including thyroid profile, everything was normal, except the ESR was high. On MRI, you can see that in the left eye, there is swelling of the lateral rectus muscle, belly, along with its insertion. So it is diagnosed as a case of orbital myositis, and patient has been given oral prednisolone, and he has recovered with this. So orbital myositis usually has acute onset. There will be severe pain, and pain exacerbates on the movement away from the involved muscle. Like if this patient has involvement of the lateral rectus muscle, so when the patient is looking towards the right side, there is excessive pain. There will be conjunctival redness, lid swelling, diplopia, and investigation of choice is either CT scan or MRI. In MRI, you can see the muscle and tendon involvement better. The next case is in 42 years old lady. She presented with recurrent history of both eye upper lid swelling and heaviness and little pain. And for the last few years, she has on and off on treated with some oral steroid by some local doctors. On investigation, all the blood parameter, including P and K, C and K, rheumatoid factor, everything is normal. Even the thyroid profile also normal. It's only she has a Mantoux test was borderline. So I have advised her to do a quantiferon TB gold. It came to be negative. So we have done a orbital incision biopsy, and on incision, the CT scan orbit enlargement of the both lacrimal gland. And on incision biopsy, it came to be a lacrimal gland tissue infiltrated with histiocytes and multinucleated giant cell with few non-caseating granuloma, but there was no acid-fat bacilli on Jeren stain. So this case has been diagnosed as a case of NSOID, or idiopathic orbital inflammatory disease, and she has been put on oral oral prednisolone acetate in a tapered dose. So dacryoadenitis may be unilateral or bilateral. It may present simultaneously or sequentially. It has an acute or subacute onset. There may be mild to moderate pain. And in dacryoadenitis patient, around 50% patient presents with a dry eye, and the shape of the eyelid is usually S-shaped. This is the third case. He is a 50 years old male presented with acute proptosis, congestion, and dimness of vision in the left eye. He has been treated. He also has been treated with some suboptimal dose of steroid by some local doctors. On examination, his vision on presentation was 6/60, and this is the left eye disc photo showing disc edema, suggestive of compressive optic neuropathy. On CT MRI orbit, you can see there is diffuse hyperintensity in the entire intraconal space, and the lesion is inserting the optic nerve. So we perform a orbital incision biopsy, and on incision biopsy, it came to be a diffuse infiltration, predominantly with lymphocyte and neutrophil, plasma cell, histiocytes, and stromal edema, but there is no fibrosis. This case has been idiopathic inflammation is usually presents as unilateral, but it is a tendency to recur. It presents with proptosis, ophthalmoplegia, and dimness of vision due to perineuritis. Other differential diagnosis of this condition is acute thyroid eye disease, orbital cell. This discussion will not be completed if I don't orbital disease. This is a novel clinical entity, which is actually a systemic condition in which fibro-inflammatory lesion rich in immunoglobulin G4 and plasma cell can be present in a single or multiple organs of the body. And when it involves the eye, it is known as immunoglobulin G4 related ophthalmic disease. Histopathologic appearance of immunoglobulin G4 disease resembles that of idiopathic orbital inflammatory disease. And over the past decade, immunoglobulin G4 disease recognized as a possible cause of idiopathic orbital disease. Here is a nice study by Dr. Akshay Gopinathan Nair et al., and they have actually retrospectively reviewed some of the diagnosis of slides of orbital inflammatory disease and orbital lymphoproliferative disease, and they found that previously diagnosed cases, among the previously diagnosed cases of idiopathic orbital inflammation, and 44% actually ultimately came to be a immunoglobulin G4 disease. So when we are diagnosing a case of idiopathic orbital inflammatory disease, we should look for this plasma cells and the immunohistochemistry for immunoglobulin G4. These are the diagnostic criteria of immunoglobulin G4 disease. It is published by the Japanese group, and in the diagnostic criteria of G4, these are either imaging of the lacrimal gland, trigeminal nerve, extraocular muscle, and hypertrophic lesion in various ophthalmic tissue. And histopathologically, there shows marked lymphocyte and plasma site infiltration, and this plasma site should be more than 40% should be immunoglobulin G4 positive, and the blood test of the patient should show elevation of the serum immunoglobulin G4 at more than 135 milligram per deciliter. So to diagnose the idiopathic orbital inflammation, first you have to take a careful history, clinical findings, CT scan or MRI. Important whether it is acute, subacute or chronic. If the patient has any systemic illness or not should be taken care, and the personal history, addiction history should be taken. Age, it is usually occurs in middle-aged patient, And if the patient is less than 10 years or more than 75 years, this is suggestive of some non-idiopathic, there may be some specific reason. It should actually is probably not idiopathic orbital inflammation. It may be both unilateral or bilateral, and mostly in systemic disease, it is usually bilateral. Female are more prone to male, but in idiopathic IgG4 disease, males are more common. Other sign like lead sign of thyroid eye disease and saddle nose in Wegener has to be also looked for. On imaging, CT scan is the standard practice, but now MRI with contrast is a preferred choice in diagnosing in a case of idiopathic orbital inflammation. I'll show you why. Because in the first picture of the one patient is showing some involvement of the lacrimal gland and the part of the extracorneal orbit, but it is giving us a differential diagnosis of either it could be a lymphoma or a idiopathic inflammation, or it could be some epithelial lesion of the lacrimal gland. But when you do the fat suppressed contrast and gadolinium enhanced enhancement, there is you can see there is also preseptal involvement along with postseptal tissue also involved. So this ideally lead to a diagnosis of idiopathic that is inflammatory disease, not epithelial tumor. So, now come to the role of orbital biopsy. Tissue biopsy is a critical diagnostic step in non-myocytic idiopathic orbital inflammation, but incision biopsy indicated in cases of suboptimal response to steroid therapy. And it's have to take care that adequate representative tissue has to be taken. Corticosteroids should be stopped before biopsy. Initial incision biopsy in orbital inflammation is not indicated in case of myositis and apical inflammation. This is a simplified approach published by Mumbers et al. How to proceed for diagnosis and treatment. They have shown if you are suspecting some idiopathic inflammation, if the lacrimal gland is involved, then we have to look for is it a cause is identifiable or not. If the cause is identified, that it could be tumor or something else, then it is probably not idiopathic or idiopathic lesion. And if the mass there is no identifiable mass, then we have to go for biopsy. And if the biopsy is consistent with idiopathic inflammation, then it is a non-myocytic, idiopathic inflammation. And you have to treat the patient in that line. And if the patient has some enlarged extraocular muscle, if we can find the identifiable, cannot find the identifiable reason, then we can straightforward start corticosteroid trial, and we can diagnose the patient as myocytic idiopathic or inflammation. And if we found if we suspect some specific disease like sarcoid, lymphoma, etc., we have to do a biopsy first. And if the biopsy is consistent with inflammation, then the treatment or line of treatment will be steroid treatment, as in myocytic IOI. And if there is specific pathological findings found, then the treatment should be in that line. So the management of idiopathic orbital inflammation are, if it is a mild one, simple non-steroidal or non-steroidal inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs is enough. And if the disease is moderate to severe, first you have to give a corticosteroid trial. Corticosteroid trial is 1 milligram per kg body weight per day in a tapered dose. If the response response satisfactory, then continue the treatment. If there is optimal response, then go for a incision biopsy and treat. My third case and NSAIDs. The second line of treatment is radiotherapy and methotrexate. If the patient is not responsive to corticosteroid and patient cannot tolerate steroids. Sorry, yeah, this is my last slide. And the third line of treatment is mycophenolate mofetil, cyclosporin, and some biologics like rituximab, infliximab. So IOID represents a diagnostic and therapeutic challenge for many ophthalmologists. IOID is actually a umbrella term which says diagnosis of exclusion. So other pathological condition affecting the orbit should be ruled out first. Proper history, examination and imaging and serologic tests help to streamline the diagnosis. Corticosteroid is the mainstay of therapy and it should be done in a optimum doses, no low dose of corticosteroid. An orbital incision biopsy is crucial in atypical cases. Thank you.